Robert Cialdini's influence explores how everyday decisions are shaped by unconscious mental shortcuts, what he calls weapons of influence. These operate automatically, guiding our behavior without deliberate thought, and are deeply embedded in human social interaction. The new and expanded edition adds a seventh principle: unity, or shared identity, alongside the original six. Cialdini's writing not only explains these principles, but actively employs them to demonstrate their real-world power. 1. Reciprocity. The pull to repair reciprocity. Man, it's basically social guilt in action. Somebody hands you a freebie. Suddenly you're hit with this weird urge to pay them back even if you didn't ask for anything. Cialdini's got all these wild stories where folks get suckered in by tiny gestures. Like, you think that free sample at the grocery store is just a nice treat. No, it's a trap. Next thing you know, you're walking out with a family-sized box of something you barely even like, just 'cause you felt like you owed them. It's almost ridiculous how a little kindness can twist our arms into going way overboard in return. This obligation can be taken advantage of. A Japanese acceptance study demonstrated how sending holiday greeting cards to strangers without solicitation resulted in many sending cards back. This is powerful, but not inherently manipulative. Cialdini counsels awareness. When receiving freebies, recognize the influence attempt so you can act based on your own priorities rather than automatic obligation. Applications. Marketers offer free trials. Fundraisers send small gifts before asking for donations. In everyday life, expressing gratitude or offering thoughtful assistance can foster cooperation and goodwill. However, it is wise to limit reciprocity, to avoid feeling compelled to do so for insignificant acts. 2. Commitment and consistency. Sticking to the script. Humans strive for internal and external consistency. When we make a commitment to something, especially in writing or in public, we align our subsequent actions accordingly. The consistency principle is as follows. It operates via the subconscious, so even trivial commitments can have outsized influence on later choices. You see this all the time with that foot in the door trick. Basically, you ask someone for something tiny like, "Hey, can I stick this little sign in your yard?" And weirdly, once they say yes, they're way more likely to agree to something bigger later. It's like people are hardwired to keep up with whatever image of themselves they've started projecting. Cialdini's all about this. He says folks really want their actions to match who they think they are. So, once you get that first yes, you're kinda in. Applications. Just setting a goal can make us more likely to pursue it. Coaches and leaders ask for small commitments to build momentum. Dark applications like cold recruitment and manipulative fundraising result from this as well. In defense, pause and consider whether this aligns with your actual desires or is merely a step toward greater commitments before making a commitment. 3. Social proof. Following the herd, humans seek out cues from others when they are uncertain about how to behave, particularly in situations that are unclear or when those others are similar to us. This is called social proof by Cialdini. Behavior amplifies when others are perceived to be doing the same thing. Companies capitalize on this through testimonials such as best-selling, most popular, and millions sold, and social media amplifies it by encouraging blind trust in popularity through likes, shares, and reviews. However, this can be dangerous. Mass behavior isn't always evidence of correctness. Cialdini reminds us of horrific outcomes, from suicides to cult tragedies, where people follow groups blindly. Applications, highlighting customer reviews or showing product popularity taps into social proof. In contrast, awareness is the antidote. Inquire, is this decision based on data? Or am I just conforming? 4. The favor for friend algorithm. Liking, we comply more with people we like. Liking can stem from familiarity, attractiveness, shared interests, compliments, or similarity. Salespeople make use of this principle by developing rapport with customers, having a connection with them. That makes you more likely to buy. Even subtle strategies like repeated exposure, the mere exposure effect, increase liking. Cialdini explains that repeated non-threatening interaction makes people more endearing. Ad campaigns with the same face, for instance, create trust through familiarity. Applications, to have an impact on other people, focus on making genuine connections, finding interests in common, and showing genuine appreciation. On the flip side, be vigilant. Are you buying from someone because of actual merit, or simply because they seem friendly? 5. Trusting the expert. Authority, humans are inclined to follow credible authority. Cialdini identifies 3 authority cues: titles, dress, and demeanor. People defer to authority even when it goes against their personal ethics, as Milgram's obedience study demonstrates. Cialdini warns that perceived authority can be falsely constructed, titles and lab coats can be faked. Expertise that is legitimate and openness to one's limitations are the foundations of true authority. Applications, establish credentials before presenting. When evaluating info, check credentials and evidence. Appearances can be deceiving. 6. Scarcity, wanting what's rare. Scarcity heightens perceived value. When access is limited, whether quantity, time, or exclusivity, we want it more. Marketers spread FOMO, limited stock, ending soon, exclusive, to accelerate buying. In the new and expanded edition, Cialdini frames scarcity as a form of loss aversion. We dread losing more than we appreciate equivalent gains. Frequently, logical judgment is overridden by the fear of missing out. Applications, using countdown timers or what I'm offer messages stimulate action. Customers ought to pause and consider, am I buying because it's right, or because I'm afraid of missing out, before making a purchase. 7. Unity, tapping shared identity. Cialdini's new principle unity points to persuasion based on shared identity, kin, ethnicity, nationality, ideology, or any group membership. People feel connected and aligned with those they perceive as one of us. In practice, marketers and leaders create unity through slogans, "We the people," or insider language. Unity prevails over other principles of influence. Individuals give more to members of their own group. Awareness helps both leverage and guard against unity-based persuasion. Synergy of principles, even though each principle functions as a weapon, the most persuasive arguments frequently combine them. Marketers might use a free sample reciprocity, mention a limited time offer. Scarcity, quote an expert authority, show that others accepted social proof, highlight similarity. Unity, gain initial commitments. Consistency, and add warmth. Liking, all layered to make refusal very difficult. Cialdini deliberately uses these tactics in his own writing, underscoring the importance of understanding them. The fundamental mentality. Cialdini organizes his explanations around System 1 thinking, responding quickly, automatically, and intuitively, versus System 2, which thinks slowly and rationally. These methods of influence work at the System 1 level without requiring analytical thinking. They evolved to help us navigate social complexity, but in modern settings, they can be manipulated because they work unconsciously. Even intelligent, informed people fall prey. Importantly, awareness alone can reduce susceptibility. When you recognize a tactic, engaging system 2 and making different choices requires cognitive slack. How to resist? Saying no. Cialdini doesn't just expose manipulative tactics. He also gives tools to defend against them. Awareness. Recognize when these weapons are being used. Mental timeout. Slow your reaction when pressured by scarcity or consistent. Public commitment. Ask questions. Challenge authority. What are your credentials? Is this really scarce? Reframe scarcity. See limited time deals as marketing strategies, not necessarily better choices. Check for alignment. Does this action match your values? Or are you feeling manipulated? These defense strategies reinforce individual agency in a world filled with subtle persuasion. Examples from the real world. The stories in Cialdini's book are vivid and from the real world. Salespeople who bypass brands by giving free treats. Reciprocity. Cult recruitment and fundraising tied to commitment and consistency. Hotel towel. Reuse campaigns exploiting social proof. Most other guests reuse theirs. Increases compliance dramatically. The Milgram experiments with obedience airlines using only 2 seats left at this price. Scarcity. Unity-based appeals like join the resistance. Donate now. These stories provide context and illustrate pitfalls and potential. His undercover ethnography working alongside salespeople exposed real tactics used in industry. Updated insights and Unity's emergence in new chapters. Cialdini explores Unity more deeply. Unity goes beyond liking and social proof. It's about shared identity. Influence has an inherent personal quality when it targets groups with which you identify. Political messaging uses this heavily. Appeals couched in we language. We Americans, we parents mobilize unity-based compliance. He also updates earlier studies with modern contexts like social media, digital marketing, and online persuasion, illustrating how old principles adapt to online environments. Practical takeaways. How to use ethically and defend wisely to influence others. Offer genuine value first. Reciprocity works best with sincerity. By showcasing peers who have benefited, you can use social proof. Make sure your proposals are supported by experts and linked to reputable sources. Mention limited availability but ethically so. Build rapport and highlight shared identity. Ask for small commitments. Then build consistency reinforces follow-through. To protect yourself, become conscious of persuasive tactics. Before accepting offers, ask if your choice is voluntary or triggered by obligation. Evaluate credentials and ask for data behind authority claims. Question social proof. Are reviews genuine? Resist scarcity-driven impulsivity. Watch for unity-based appeals that may bypass critical scrutiny. Final reflectionistly. Influence isn't somehow to trick people playbook, it's more like a spotlight on all the sneaky ways we're getting played, both by others and by our own brains. Yep, we do it to ourselves too. Cialdini totally breaks down persuasion, not to give you supervillain powers, but to warn you about how easy it is to say yes without thinking. He lists these weapons of influence, such as authority, unity, scarcity, likability, keeping your word, social proof, and, of course, reciprocity. It's like having X-ray vision for manipulation. Once you see these tricks in action, you get sharper at calling out nonsense, and you stop falling for every pushy pitch or guilt trip that comes your way. Honestly, it makes you harder to mess with and way better at getting your own point across. In the end, influence reveals a fundamental truth. In order to make decisions that are conscious and in line with our values, we need to bring light into the shadowy parts of our social mind. The new and expanded edition confirms the enduring relevance of Cialdini's principles and adds unity as a key to understanding influence in an interconnected, identity-driven world.